You know, chat, I've got to admit, I saw this video. So today we're going to be watching I Played Star Wars Zero Company by EckhartsLadder. First video I've ever seen from this person, so I'm interested to see what it's all about. But I saw this freeze frame. Someone screenshotted it on Twitter, and I just had to check it out because it's a Star Wars game, sure, that I didn't even know. Like, I don't know, the last Star Wars game that I heard of was the Cal Kestis ones. I didn't know that there was a new one out, but this looks like XCOM. I vibe with XCOM. XCOM is a vibe, but there's Star Wars XCOM? This looks awesome. For the YouTube peeps, make sure to check out the link to the original video down below. Give it some love, all that fun stuff. And I don't know, answer this question. Do you like XCOM? Do you like XCOM style games? I'm really intrigued. Chat, this looks awesome. Right, I'm going to stop yapping. We're just going to get into this because this looks awesome. And I can't tell, are they rebels? Are they monsters? Are they bounty hunters? What era is this? Is this the Clone Wars? Is this after the Clone Wars when they finally escaped from like Order 66 and like some of them removed the chip in the back like Ahsoka's lot? Like, I need to know. Right, let's just get into it. Zero Company, what have you got? Never mind, we're loading.
What did I think of the game? Will it be worth picking up? I'll give my thoughts and answer some of your questions after the intro.
Okay, sounds good. Ooh, nice. EckhartsLadder, Star Wars, Halo, and more. Nice.
Hey guys, this is Justin. Hello, and welcome to another video. So, I was lucky enough to try an early build of Star Wars Zero Company. As mentioned, my Steam numbers say I played for about 8.5 hours. There was actually a limit to how far we could progress within the game. However, due to some technical issues, I got the build late, so I didn't actually reach that point. Now, as far as I'm aware, I can say pretty much whatever I want here, although I will not be going into spoilers at all. I'll talk very, very generally about the plot, kind of what you'd read on the back of the box. That, sadly, is going to be a dated reference quite soon. But really, I want to focus on game.
The snide remark about PlayStation, I love it.
Play here. And by the way, full transparency, not paid for this, not invited to anything for this.
This looks really smooth.
Early preview. So, what's Zero Company like?
Yeah,
well,
tell me more.
Honestly, I think the marketing up to this point has been pretty honest. It kind of sits alongside the new Galactic Racer in that it's certainly a niche game, which seems focused on sort of pushing the specific genre it occupies to a good level. Like, this isn't something like Star Wars.
But I don't know. I've not seen any marketing for this personally. Like, I've only seen the marketing for the new Racer game, sure. And I thought that was still in development. I didn't know that it was sort of getting towards playtesting territory, but I've never seen any marketing towards this, but this looks awesome. If this is coming out soon, I'm putting it on pre-order right now, 100%. This looks like my cup of tea.
Wars Battlefront, which had a million different game types, and
yeah,
in
Battlefront
my opinion,
was great.
Didn't do any of them super well. This is very much an XCOM style experience. There are some changes from the traditional XCOM formula. Some I like, others I don't.
Okay.
But let's start with where you'll be playing most of the game, combat. So for those of you who have never played an XCOM style game, for one, you absolutely should. And
exactly.
I think this is a really good starting point.
And sorry, I know I'm cutting him off. If you like XCOM style games, chat, and you don't mind like anime girls and stuff, Girls Frontline 2 is a great game, typical gacha game, but the combat style is XCOM style game. I love it. This XCOM style combat is fantastic.
We'll give a basic overview of how gameplay works. You go into arenas with usually one of several main objectives, and sometimes the objectives progress as you go along, but usually involve killing enemies or rescuing an ally or placing a bomb, then exfiltrating.
Nice.
You do this through turn-based combat. You've got a squad of guys. They each have essentially energy through which you take actions, whether it's moving, firing your weapon, using one of your special abilities, going into Overwatch mode to try to fight against enemy movements, whatever. After you take your turn, you watch as the enemy responds and does the exact same thing. A big part of these games is tactical positioning, putting your troops in the best place to take their shot or do their thing and succeed. Now, built on top of this main battle mode, you have character relationships, character training, other game modes, and we'll get to that in a second, but I do want to start this video off with a discussion of what the combat is like, because again, that's where you'll be spending most of your time, and that's where honestly the most interesting
Is there different
moments
closses, like sniper class?
I personally am not the most experienced XCOM player, but I'm quite
brother, neither am I. I love XCOM. I love XCOM with a passion, but I've never completed it. I've never survived to the very end. I just have a miserable end every single damn time. It's not a good time.
familiar with the franchise, and the main difference that I noticed in this game was a lack of pre-battle action. If you've ever played XCOM, you start most battles off with essentially a fog of war. You move your troops into position, usually towards an objective on a relatively large map without knowing where the enemy is. This makes the battles slightly longer. It also gives you some more options when setting up.
And you can also, and sometimes as well, it can also go badly for you as well, because you'll engage with someone, but because you don't know what else is sort of in the fog of war, you end up getting like jumped out of nowhere, and you have to like react to it as well, which makes it super challenging from time to time.
Zero Company really skips most of this. You're in the action almost immediately.
Okay,
in every
I don't
battle
mind that.
I fought, if there were enemies on the field at the start, you could see them. Now, reinforcements could come and come out of surprising places. I think that's where you'll probably have your first soldier death, but this is definitely a change which you'll feel subjectively about depending on your experience with XCOM. For me personally, I initially didn't like it, but I ended up appreciating the fact that I was spending more of my time actually in battles. Because the one thing that I really began to appreciate as I played this game was how different the various characters are and how you can really make a team which nicely synergizes. For those, again, who have never played an XCOM game, one of the big features is permadeath. With some exceptions, if a character fully dies in battle, they're gone for the campaign. Again, there are exceptions, mostly built around the main character, but you can lose characters, lock yourself out of storylines, and more. The way death works in this game is characters have levels of injury. Having your health bar knocked to the bottom is a level of injury. They can be revived, but that injury stays, with some exceptions, until they're brought home and spend several days healing. So
that's good. That's nice.
If you have a big battle,
so it's like it gives you like a soft, not a soft lock, but they give you like a slap on the wrist, like okay, that's your one chance gone. If they go down again, then they are dead. That's nice. I kind of like that. Listen, with XCOM games, they can be challenging, so I do appreciate a slap on the wrist rather than a punch to the nose.
Do you want to take your favorite guy who maybe excels in one given role, knowing that he's one knockdown away from dying permanently? That's one of the debates, but also, if you get a guy in a bad enough position, like he gets surrounded by enemies, he's gone, even though he may go into the battle with full health. But that sense of real threat, again, is the fun of these games. So I recommend you play with permadeaths on. But yeah, I mentioned the characters, and to me, this is one area where the game is stronger than past XCOM entries I've played. I know later on in XCOM, as you do training and get the psionic powers and whatever, the characters do start to look really different, but really early on in Zero Company, I developed a squad and a series of tactics which worked for me. The main character is named Hawks. He's fully customizable, he or she actually, from his appearance to his role. My Hawks was a sharpshooter and a commander, so he excelled at getting in a comfortable position, taking shots, and then sharing his energy, which is actually called AP, action points, with the rest of the team. Alongside him, I would usually run the clone trick. You can be quite aggressive with him, as if you upgrade along the right path, he can basically negate some of his injuries, which is very helpful. Then, honestly, the MVP for many of my engagements was actually an astromech droid. You can choose to unlock the astromech.
I don't know if they are customizable. I'm sure he's going to explain it in a minute. But if I get this, you best believe I'm creating R2. I'm having my boy. I need my boy.
bay, basically, depending on how you invest the credits you earn after each battle, which we'll talk about. But
like upgrades,
man, he is so useful. He basically is not usually directly in combat, but you get to take equipment into battle. So grenades, smoke grenades, med packs, whatever. The astromech is real nice because he takes 3 versions of each piece of equipment he has,
fantastic.
and basically exists to move AP around your squad. So he can really save you. Like, imagine you take a 90% shot with someone who's up close to a super battle droid and they miss. Which, of course, they do. That super battle droid might have a rocket cooked and ready to fire off next turn. That could be a death sentence, and then the little R2 unit comes, throws you an extra action point, and you can take another shot. Then you miss again and you die, but it is what it is. In my 4th slot, and sometimes you would have 5 or even more if you were saving someone, I'm not sure what the upper limit is. I would use a variety of characters, often filling in for someone who was injured. But typically, I would like someone who hit pretty hard. One of the main characters is Cab Uppercut. You can do a lot of cool things with him, basically knocking it.
So, hold on, I'm a little bit confused because he's talking about main characters in this, right? So XCOM was famous for having its like recruiting system where they would just randomly generate troops. They go in as a rookie, and then once you get their first promotion, they can specialize into a class. You can customize their name, their country, their race, their appearance, all these things, right? So in this game, do they just not have that? Is it just you've got a set list of characters, make do? Is there no customization? Like, if there's no customization, that kind of sucks. It's very limiting. I hope that's not the case.
Enemies through barriers or into the line of sight of other characters, and that's really useful. One thing that I quite like about the game, however, is how mid-combat the different characters can synergize. Not only can you set up actions which are triggered by other characters, but they all actually have relationships which are developed the more they fight together.
That's nice.
So
I like that.
if you do have a core squad, it's kind of a benefit because they do develop these relationships. Then you can use those points to level up aspects of your character, whether melee damage, Overwatch, whatever. They also have dialogue which changes depending on their relationship. So if Hawks is really close with Cab and Hawks makes a nice shot, you'll hear Cab reference it. The characters you recruit from your team will be a mix of what they call authored characters, so ones with full backstories, and then ones who, I'm not sure if they're randomly generated, but basically, I guess, filler characters. I will say, though, one of the filler characters I ended up really liking. Kind of developed my own little story with him. One thing people, I think, will really like is the level of customization. I was actually quite surprised.
Oh, wow, yeah, you can customize, and you can customize the profile, too.
One thing I know people will like is the fact that you can put every single character, at least as far as I know, into clone armor. So you can
have a full clone squad,
you can also just put your entire squad in fully customized clone armor. You can change their helmets, their chest plate, their pants, their boots, their gloves, pretty much everything. The customization overall is really strong. I will say one thing, however, I don't like is the fact that it seems like the weapons your characters use are fairly limited. Now, I didn't unlock a whole lot, and we'll get to unlocking stuff in a moment. So it's possible this changes. You sort of work with the black market to unlock equipment. But to me, if there's one thing that I did miss from XCOM was managing not just your soldiers, which this does really well, but also your equipment. I really didn't get very far in this game, and it makes me wonder sort of what's on the other side. Like, I do know, for example, bonds, as you continue to upgrade them and reach the highest level, you unlock some really special abilities. One thing I didn't mention, for example, is that aside from action points, which are refreshed every turn, there's also, I believe it's called initiative, which builds up every time you damage an enemy. So, like, I can see you making a team, maybe which uses 2 astromechs and focuses heavily on getting as many light attacks as you can off on the first couple of turns, thus building up an initiative move. One, for example, for the droid was every person gets 1 extra action point.
I like that. And you know what? I would probably just bring along, I think if I do this, I would probably bring the droid along like this guy did, because the droid just sounds like such a convenient companion. Like, he can give you guys an extra point. He can give you guys opportunities to save yourselves. He carries 3 of each, like, utility piece of equipment to bail you out should you need it. The droid just sounds like such an important companion that if you don't have a droid in your squad, you're kind of screwed. I do like the idea of this. It's really good. This looks so cool.
The clone trooper had a rocket launcher. Sometimes they're reusable, sometimes not. But yeah, I mentioned that because I believe you can even upgrade some new ones once you level your guys up all the way.
Right.
I know I'm jumping back into combat here, but you can also upgrade people individually based on their experience. Some have traits.
So they have cool. So they have like there's sort of growth points, but then there's actual like a skill tree almost for each individual character. Not on a squad level. This is so cool. Oh, brother, I'm going to get lost in this. I'm going to be grinding on a daily basis. This looks so good.
It's taunting, assisting enemies with attacking, jumping across the battlefield if you've got a Mandalorian, for example.
Oh, that's going to be so cool.
At least 8 classes. Honestly, just watch the gameplay that I'm posting. You'll get a good idea of what the combat looks like. The only thing that I noticed was missing was like a fortify ability. So when you're behind cover, obviously you get protection depending on your elevation.
You can't lock down an area.
A million factors, but as far as I can tell, you can't actually take further cover to protect yourself. So generally, if you've got an action point left over, you're best off putting yourself in Overwatch. Okay, but the rest of the game outside of combat, I've already mentioned you can upgrade your facilities after each combat. Sometimes, depending on your performance, you get credits. You can invest these credits on unlocking new parts of your base or just
so it's like XCOM 2.
And buying individual pieces of equipment. I quite enjoy the base you mess around in. You get to walk around. I think the character interactions are mostly good. I won't talk much about the story, but in general, I'll just say you're fighting essentially a separatist cult. I don't think you need to know.
Wait, huh? Separatist cult. So what are you? What are you? Are you like what era is this? Is this like New Republic? Like after the fall of the Empire? Is this like New Republic era? Is this like Jedi on the case? Look at that, launch Operation Jedi on the case. Do we get like special Jedi characters that you like unlock after you like max out a skill tree or something? That'd be so cool. Like, imagine you're only like, okay, you're only allowed like 1 Jedi per squad, or you obviously can't have a whole squad of Jedi. But you could have like your own little like clone squad led by 1 Jedi. It'd be like Anakin and the boys. You know what I mean? This would be so cool. Oh my God, my imagination is just running wild. And I can guarantee the second that modders get their hands on this, this is going to be fire.
Much more than that. They're called the Infinite Coil, as you've probably seen in some of the marketing. My opinion is that they exist so that you can fight across worlds which weren't already in the Clone Wars.
Sounds good.
The main tactical missions are called just that, tactical missions. You go in, you fight. It advances the cycle you're in and thus sort of advances the story. You got to pay attention to that as well because certain missions will only be available for so many cycles. Sometimes missions are geared towards specific squad members and will gain you advantages or things you can really miss out on if you don't take the time to talk to people between battles. But alongside that, there are also operations. These are essentially just text missions. You get to make decisions and you can earn everything from credits or equipment to zone influence. The galaxy is split up into 12 different zones. You can use influence to level up these zones and gain benefit, whether it's credits, again, equipment, or the black market. You can also make a lot of this happen with money if you manage to get some of that. I just want to note, though, when the marketing talks about dozens and dozens of planets in the game, I don't know the exact number, but some of those are essentially text box only. So the planet being involved often.
So some planets you can play on, and then some of them are only in this text box area. I suppose that's okay. Like I'm happy to make my peace with that. If they made every planet playable, I think they'd run out of environments to use for small combat situations. I just hope they've got Coruscant. I'd just love to play on a map like this and you just have Coruscant in the background. That would go so hard. Or Tatooine. Tatooine would be so hard as well. Oh, this is going to be so good.
Doesn't really matter. Overall, though, this game is refreshing in that it's pretty much exactly what it was marketed as. Do I have some concerns? Absolutely, and we'll go over them now. Many of them, to be honest, are kind of pretty common ones amongst the genre. The big one is, will it get old? And I'm not sure. I haven't played through it.
I think maybe. I think with that one, it's a maybe. Because like XCOM gets old pretty quickly. but then that's also where modders can come in and help and add some flavor. I mean, to be fair, like most games can get like pretty boring fairly quickly. Again, just modders and your own sort of personal levels of enjoyment can really prolong the enjoyment you can get from a game, right? So hopefully the modders come in and they actually have a field day with this.
Full campaign. I do worry somewhat about mission repetition and objective repetition, but I was also somewhat limited in how far I played. I went out of my way to do as many side missions as I could rather than the more distinct main levels. I will also say pre-mission, there's like segments where you walk into the battle. They did very little for me. Another thing I do worry about a little is enemy variety. There certainly are some distinctions. Like fighting the droids is very different than fighting the coil.
Okay.
You will be fighting over a dozen droids at once, sometimes significantly more. The coil is usually smaller, but more sort of unpredictable.
Right.
With droids, my big focus is saving my equipment for when I can get a bunch of them together and then hit them with a frag grenade, a detonator. So
like group them up.
That's one of my concerns as well. I really think it would have been nice to expand this to vehicle combat. Like, that to me would have pushed the genre a bit further, and maybe it does. Again, I've only played 8 hours, but to me, kind of that's the one thing I would have liked to see them go even further in spectacle. And I will say I'm running up against 15 minutes, which is based on the agreement, the amount of footage I can show. So I'll just say I would pick this up. Like, this isn't a full review, but for me personally, I think this is a
already
game
out?
I'm interested in. Would I pre-order? No. Never pre-order a Star Wars game. But, like, this seems to be one of the ethical ones. It comes out this month.
Comes out this month?
I will say, and this is going to sound like a joke, but it's not, is I was disappointed they didn't include my friend Corey from Corey Loses and Corey's Datapad in this test session. Like, if there's any guy who makes only ethical Star Wars content, no AI slop, no rage baiting, and has actually been the guy in the Star Wars tactical gaming space, it's kind of him. The dude's not only made thousands of Empire War videos, he made the Empire at War mod, Thrawn's Revenge. I saw the team also follows him on Twitter, and I also really highly recommended him. I was just a little disappointed by that. Regarding story,
I respect that.
I will say
I respect that. Dude's just trying to put his bro on. I get that. You know what? Dude, this is my first time meeting you. This is my first time watching your content. You already have my respect. Immediately get a good opportunity. Try to bring your bro into it. Lad, that's what it is. It's bros looking out for bros. It's the way it should be, people. It's the way it should be. Look out for you guys.
Like, I've got some concerns there. I don't think it's going to be bad or hurt the lore or anything like that. I worry it might be a little boring, but I actually really, really like the voice actors they have. For Hawk especially, I thought he was great. I said I'd get to some of your questions. I put a comment out on Twitter. I didn't get a whole lot. So here's the thing. After you guys see this video, leave your questions. And if you're interested, I'll do a full another video tomorrow where I go over pretty much everything you guys want to know, at least as far as I can. Again, really, the only thing that I can't talk about is some of the spoilers, and I didn't get far enough in the game to see any of them. Like, I know Anakin's in the game based on the trailer, but I didn't...
Anakin's in the game! No way! Please tell, bruh. Please tell me my boy is unlockable. I'm begging you. Please tell me my boy is unlockable. He has to be unlockable. Let him be a playable character, please. I'm begging you.
Get to him. Anyway, I sure enjoyed the game. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours down below. Bye-bye.
Awesome. I'm a little bit confused. What's this? Is this? Oh, okay. End segment. Cool. Right, well, that was EckhartsLadder. Thank you very much for this video. I had no idea this game existed. Now I do. I love your depiction of this video. It was very informative and very good. I do like the look of this chat. I feel like I'm pre-ordering it, okay? I feel like I'm going to be streaming this relentlessly. For the guys over on YouTube, make sure to check out the original video in the link down below. Make sure to go send the original creator, some love. For this video, I'd really appreciate it if you drop a like, drop a sub, share the vid, share the love, and come watch us live on Twitch. We stream on Twitch 3 days a week over on twitch.tv AngloVT. Come join the fun. Come join the fun. I'm stumbling on my words. Twitch chat, let's go. We've got one more video to go and react to, and it's some gun videos. We do love ourselves some Brandon Herrera, and I found one that I want to check out. Let's do it. Da-da-da-da-da-do.